So, good evening, everybody. It is Monday night, and it is the final race of the Monday night, not only for the season, but also for the year. And, well, I say year on a Monday night. We still have one more last race happening on Thursday. And with me in the virtual commentary box, we've got Stephen, who has been our alpha tier commentator this evening. And I'm pretty sure we might get Stanky that will jump in a little bit later to come and say, how's it, Stephen? You're good this evening, excited for the last round, and it's quite a different format.
Oh, definitely. I can't wait for tonight. It is a tricky track already, the 24-hour Le Mans circuit. So it is a tricky track. Very long, so the guys have got to be very patient. Got to play the game carefully and not be too hasty. It's a long race. It is 14 laps. The times around here are insane. What I saw and what I was doing were completely two different things. That's why I'm in Bravo. So, yes. But it is going to be wonderful to see the Alpha boys give a show for us tonight.
So essentially what will happen is we're not doing a qualifying. We are going to go straight into a race, which is probably about just about 55 minutes. And we are doing a reverse grid start off your current championship points. So where the guys are standing, they're going to have to be very, very, I'd say, patient just to work their way through the field, get into that rhythm, and hopefully take the win.
Yeah, this whole reverse grid is going to be a tricky one where the boys are always in the front. Now they are right at the back, so they can feel what it feels to be at the back and trying to make their way through the grid. And trying to not just lap the person, but try and race for position. Because we always know it's the top 3, top 4 drivers that are always in the same front. It's the other way around. So now the guys who are at the back are now they qualified pole tonight.
Yeah, it is going to be absolutely awesome. I can't wait to get the gloves on and behind the seats. So, Stephen, I'll leave you to it. I'll just make sure that you are able to see everything, but without further ado, I will jump in, and we'll see you on the other side.
Sweetness, good luck. Well, as you heard today, ladies and gentlemen, we are racing at the Le Mans 24-hour circuit. It is 14 laps. 14 laps of pure racing.
Jacques, do you have the positions for the starting lineup?
And the weather is actually
quite
hot
I
track
promise you I haven't
today.
heard it. If you can lees it for me, yes, I believe.
So yeah, just getting built in the background a little bit. But yes, it's 14 laps. It's a long track. I think the estimate lap times were like between 3:57, 3:58. So that is a long lap, and without doing a mistake, that is going to be the key word: not to do a mistake on this track, because anything can happen. From last year, from me qualifying second and having the lead of the race, and then the rain came. I know what this track can do, but thank goodness there is no rain. It is all sunshine and cloudiness, so the track does get quite hot. And we're gonna have to what those guys are got up their sleeves. Whose Pitmac is awake? Whose Pitmac is still on holiday, or still is going to go on holiday? As we see, let's see, the stream is up on Facebook. So let's see, do we have through? Don't have any comments coming through just yet. Boom. So as we can see, the grid is a little bit small tonight. We normally got about 15 to 16 drivers on the track, so a lot of the guys that can't make it. Some are moving house, some are still working. So yes, it's a little bit pity there. Got 13. No, sorry, we have 11 drivers on the track. So yes, it is going to be a jam-packed track still, even with 11 drivers on here circulating. It's going to be very tricky. And for Quicksilver and Marius, yeah, let's see what they can do. Because I've seen the times that Marius can do and what Quicksilver can do. Just don't know if he's been sandbagging a little bit. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what those two can do. Because they've been going at it the whole season. So it's going to be very interesting to see who is going to take the title. That is, who's going to be crowned new SARCO champion for 2021. And as we see the guys lining up here on the track, just waiting for everything to sink in. What should I say? The game to think in. It's going to be an interesting race. It's going to be very fast, very technical. And that slipstream is going to play a big role in tonight. But we're going to see what the guys are going to be like. Are they just going to let Quicksilver and Morris go through today? Or do they have to work for their places today? So, yes, this is going to be very interesting. Very, very interesting. Still just waiting for the game to come alive so we can start. But other than that, we can see we've got Krista in the front, and then we have Scott in second place, Jake's in third there, PB in fourth. I don't think these are the places that they're starting, but we've got Rockstar Mall, Dylan, Morris, Quicksilver, Uncle Durkee, Stalls, Robert, and then Uncle Terry, and then we have Brandon Skills. So yes, now the guys are going to get into the positions. So the guys that haven't done well this season are going to go in the front, and the guys that have done great all season are going to the back. So as you can see, your two leaders there, Quicksilver that's leading the championship right now. Marius is in second place. I think it's still very, very close championship this season. It's nothing like anyone can just run away from this evening. It's going to be very interesting as they can go out on the rolling. Sorry about that. The rolling roll start. Yes, so they're doing the formation lap, and yes, and as we see, Brandon Skills has that pole position tonight, with Uncle Terry in second, Stalls in third, Scott in fourth, Dylan in fifth. So this is going to be a very interesting one to see what Dylan can do, because now he doesn't have to contend with Quicksilver, Marius, and Krista and Rockstar Mall and Jakes, because they are all at the back, so they're gonna have to work their asses off tonight. I hope I can say asses, but if not, sorry. But yes, they have to work their cushies off. And this is a very, very long track. Estimate is a 3:48. I think I saw the quickest lap. So, so we mark around your 3:50 is your lap times. So that is a long race. And this track is very bumpy. So yeah, let's see what those guys have got their suspension all set up as. And as I saw, I had my engine at 100% and still getting engine damage. So yeah, it's going to be quite interesting to see the guys that are going to have engine damage and still complete the race without repairing it. Because I don't think it's that bad. But yes, and then as we see, I have got Duncan in the commentary seat with me tonight. Okay, Duncan is muted. He's not talking tonight. But as we see, the boys are still making their way. They are about halfway around the circuit, if I'm correct. Yeah, they've just reached the halfway mark. So it's going to be very interesting tonight to see what the guys can do around this wonderful circuit. This is, I think, one of my most favorite tracks to drive. Very, very technical, very bumpy, and very fast. So tonight is not who's the fastest, but that consistency. Who's going to be that consistency every lap? They're going to have this one flyer lap and then 3-4 laps, a slow lap, and then another flyer lap. That's not where this track is going to help, especially with the weather today. It also plays a tires, because the tires heat up so fast, especially those rears. That right rear, left rear, it heats up quite a bit. So the guys are going to be watching also their tire change, because as soon as the tires start getting hot, then that's your race. Because we have a car that spun out there. That was Scott. Guys are moving very quick here tonight. Guys are really going in their pits. So Souls is in the pits, Quicksilver is in the pits. So they're trying to get their pits out of the way and trying to see the undercut is going to work tonight. So let's see if that undercut is going to work, or is staying out going to be that little bit of advantage right now that you need, or are the cars going to be too slow to slow Marius down? That is another story. But I guess every car on the track is fighting for their own championship. If you're not fighting for first, you're fighting for 6th or 7th. So everyone has got their own little title that they're racing. Not everyone can be first, but they would love to be first. But yes, we take it as it comes. And as we see Terry on the attack there with Brendan's skills right now. So this is got a nice little slipstream there, cutting down on the inside, down into the braking zone, all the way down to 3rd. Nicely done. As we see, Dylan has made his way up there, so is Jakes. The only one that fell out very badly was Scott. Scott fell out quite nasty there. So this is going to be very interesting tonight. Let's see what those cars can do, because it's not that far behind, but it looks like these two are busy putting a little bit of a gap. It's down to 1.8 seconds, sorry, under a second there to Terry. So, phew, that is going to be a close race. This, as we see the two leaders there. Yeah, it's just 300 per second just behind there, and as we see in the back there, is that Marius? Marius has worked his way up from second last on the grid, chasing down Christo. I just see them weaving there. So just trying to not make contact, but Marius has worked his way nicely up all the way into right now. So he had a wonderful start to that race when we are on lap 2 already. Man, as we see, Christo is trying to make a move down the outside. He's gonna have the inside of the next corner. So let's see these guys side by side action. Man, yeah. Morris just letting him go, but Christo is there. He's not. His gloves are not even off. They are on, and he is gonna give it all he can tonight. Going a little bit wide into the corner. Morris has got a little bit of a run on him, but it looks like he's got it able to stick. But he's on the outside, touching a little bit of the grass there, or side by side. And right there we have PB just watching all of this. Oh, Morris is going a little bit too hot into that corner, but not a bad race from these two drivers. Got so much respect for both of them. As we know, Christo was in Pro last season. I raced against him, and he's a very competitive person. But Morris is another beast in his own league. As you see, Quicksilver is still 10th. We've got a long way to catch up, but this is still a long race. The guys still need to do their puts, and I think Morris is just trying to get up in front and see what they can do. 3:51, so that's around about race pace right now. Is 3:51 is Morris this time right now. Busy hunting down Dylan. But it looks like Brendan Skills is able to pull away from Terry a little bit. So he's got about a 700 of a second there. But Dylan is closing that gap. He's put it down to 800 of a second. So just under that second gap. So it's going to be very... Oh, and there we go. Oh, Tim Allen has got it. We've got everything so nasty there. Shame. Terry just touching the curb a little bit, losing the rear end, costing him quite bad. Terry retired. He's got a long way to go to the pits. Unfortunate for that. It was just, you know, this game is very unpredictable, especially with the curbs. That is the one thing everyone complains about this game. The curbs. I know the game is the same for everyone, but yeah, it's not realistic. That's the only thing a lot of the drivers complain. But it is what it is. We enjoy it. We have fun, and as you see, the boys are very competitive. Still in Project Cars 2. So we see Dylan now is what is he? He's now 1.3 seconds behind Brandon Skills. But it looks like Dylan has got a time penalty for track limits there, so I think that's going to be about a 1 second penalty. Yeah, 1 second penalty. Just a little bit, just a little bit too wide in the corners. But oh, we missed incident here. Morris is now down into 7th place. So something happened there. Trying to see if he's got a little bit of damage to the car. I don't see any damage. But that's yeah, looks like he's got front bumper damage. You see the one headlight is not working. He could even have a little bit of suspension, so that's going to be a little bit of a bummer, that one. But yeah, Quicksilver is right here. Man, oh man, and Morris has still got a pit, and this is a little bit of a bummer, this one. Still don't know what he did. We missed that completely. But as we see, Jake's in 5th, busy challenging PB there. So Jake's is still taking a little bit his low mowing skills out. And PB going super wide there. Guys are battling a little bit with their cars in the early stages of the race. We're only on lap 3 right now, so we still have a long way to go. 11 laps still to go, and the track is just going to get even hotter and faster. So yeah, this is maybe a nice one, but as we see, we have Christo in 3rd, PB in 4th, Jakes in 5th, Rockstar Mole in 6th, Morris in 7th, Stoles Robert is in 8th, and then we have Uncle Durkee in 9th, and then Tyler Scott in 10th place. So yeah, a little bit of a bummer there for spinning out on the first lap already. So, but it looks like Christo has made a mistake. I don't see Christo. Oh, Christo's in the pits. Okay, that's why I was wondering what just happened there. So Christo is doing his pits right now. So let's see where he comes out. Does Quicksilver? Is Quicksilver gonna jump out in front of him? No, he's coming down here, so he should jump Christo. Morris is in the pits as well. So there goes Morris, there goes... He's still not out yet. Yeah, Quicksilver is taking the place. So right now, Quicksilver is in a 3rd place right now. So this is going to be very interesting to see where Dylan and Brendan Skills is going to land up. Because it looks like Brendan Skills pulled a bit of a gap on Dylan with a 2.2 second gap. Guys are busy battling a little bit here in the last round of the championship, everything to race for. And right now, looks like Quicksilver could be our new champion, but race not over. So Stephen, do not say those words yet. The race is not over. We're not even halfway. We're only on lap 4. Still 10 more laps to go. And those 10 laps could feel that eternity behind the wheel. It is quite insane. Ooh. Quicksilver just going a little bit wide. It looked like he missed his braking spot there a little bit. Just pushing nose, understeering a bit. So yeah, we see Rockstar, Mole, and Jakes. They are normally the 2 drivers that push each other, but looks like they've got a bit of a gap here tonight. And Jakes is on the hunt for PB. It's going to be very interesting. As you see, Dylan is now able to close that gap to 1.4 seconds. So, yeah, just maybe a little bit of a mistake that he's done. But chasing down first place right now. No reason to come in the pits right now. I wouldn't. Stay out. Try and see if you can hold it. You know, their lap times are not the greatest right now, because Quicksilver on a 351.8. And second quickest is Brendan Skills with a 352.6. And then PB on a 352.7. So, sorry, I see actually Stars is on a 352.5. So he's the 3rd fastest car on the track right now. But I have seen times here that Morris can be quick, but yeah, now with that little bit of a mistake, it puts him in 9th place. He's got a lot of work to be doing. As we see, he is going to be pushing the coconuts out of this car. He's going to give it everything to catch up to Quicksilver, but Quicksilver... Oh, wonderful. There was a cone on the track. As we see Quicksilver and Star busy having a good old battle here. Quicksilver just a little bit of a tight line, touching the grass. Soul's not letting him go at all. It's gonna make him race for it. This is what it feels like to be. Ooh, Quicksilver just going a little bit wide. Maybe that slipstream just affecting the steering of the car right now. Hope he hasn't got any suspension damage, because I know these cars are super soft and look like he had a bit of a twerk there. So it's going to be a little bit tricky for him now to drive. Hopefully it hasn't affected his car too badly. He did a 353 flat, so Rockstar, Mall, Jakes are in the pits. Man, oh man. There was a bit of a nasty little bump there. But as we see, Dylan is now catching. He's now of a second behind the leader. So he has been able to catch up. I think he was 2.2. Bit of a mistake. So is that gap up? He's now pulling down to 500 of a second. So this is going to be very interesting to see. Can he put a bit of pressure, or is he going to pit? Does it claim that? Let's see what happens as we see Dylan having a little bit of a look there. Having a little bit of a look down. But on the braking spot on. Just sticking behind there, waiting for the mistake to happen. It looks like Dylan's got a bit of a better run on him. Going around the outside. It looks like he has got the place. Yes, he does. Because I saw Brandon Skill's car just stepping out there a little bit. So that was a bit unfortunate there. That he lost a little bit of the rear end, a little bit too quick on the throttle. But yeah, it's man, this is a race and a half, and it is still, we are only on lap 5. And Morris is still in 9th place, still behind Rockstar Mall. But it looks like we've got other people having a good old duel for their place. Not used to seeing these guys so far back, but it is so nice to see the different cars and not the same people always in the front. This is what makes racing interesting, you know, because the guys that know they qualify quicker, they can just put foot and go, and they are gone and out of here. But now with the reverse grid, it just makes it that little bit more interesting. Let's see if we've got any comments on Facebook. My Facebook is still a little bit slow on me today. Just please forgive me. And then we have Duncan. Best of luck, guys, for tonight. Well, Duncan, you are in a Bravo, so let's see what you have got to show the boys a little bit later tonight. So yeah, going to be racing with elbows out tonight. Making sure we keep those faster guys behind. Oh, excuse me. But yes, as we see, Dylan has pulled a little bit of a gap now. He's now 0.400 of a second in front of Brandon Skills. Oh, Krista losing the rear end there a little bit. Ooh, I think Roxamal was just a little bit cautious. He didn't want to be taken out there. Great awareness from Rockstar Mall. Now on the chase to catch up to Jakes, because he's got to be chasing. Oh, excuse me. So Jakes is 8.5 seconds behind Quicksilver. And Quicksilver just in front, Star was in front of Quicksilver, and it's just under a second. What happened there? Did we lose Brandon Skills? Oh no, man! It looks like a disconnection there. Am I correct? Because, yeah. So PB now moved into second, and Stoll's now into third. So just losing Brendan's skills there. Oh man, that is so unfortunate to lose drivers so far into the race. Only on lap 6. Just about to say, it looked like it froze there for a minute, but it didn't. So right now we're going to jump down to Quicksilver and Stalls, because that is the place for third place right now. And Quicksilver is going to try and get past him as quick as possible, because I think Stalls needs to pit, if I'm correct, Stall. So we still have your top 3 drivers that still need to pit. Or am I incorrect there? I could be actually incorrect, because I think Stalls did pit. So as is, if Stalls holds this race, he could win this one. Don't want to put too much pressure on him, but yes. Yeah, nice one to see a new driver. Well, I won't say new driver, but someone else winning for a change. And as we see, Dylan in his pulled now 7.4 second lead over second place PB. So I see Morris is battling a little bit tonight. Just losing out there a little bit. Unfortunate. Would have been nice to see him actually fight for the championship. But it's one of those things, I guess that's racing for you. You just gotta do what the hand that you've been dealt right now. And as we see Quicksilver and Stalls going at it, pushing each other to the limits. Or I should say Quicksilver pushing Stalls to the limits. Looks like Quicksilver had a better drive out of that corner. Stalls just went a little bit wider. But it does look like Quicksilver's got a bit of a run on him. He's going in on the inside. His Stalls shuts that door. Slam it in your face. Quicksilver just backing out a bit because he had a bit of a... I think there was a bit of understeer there. Because it just started pushing nose quite badly. This is just one of the trickiest parts of this track. Is this last little bit before you get to the checkers flag, because the car understeers so badly and then it oversteers, and you gotta just get your car at that fine sweet spot. And as you see, it looks like Stalls just pull a little bit away there. So yeah, he's got about 700 of a second to Quicksilver. So this is going to be very interesting to see if Quicksilver can close up again and try and make another charge for it. But as we see, Rockstar Mole and Christo, looks like Rockstar Mole lost his place to Christo, yes. So Christo giving his almighty all tonight. In 6th place right now, as we have Jakes in 5th. He is trying to hunt down Quicksilver, but tonight it looks like he is a little bit off the pace. Where we see Quicksilver doing a 351.6. The only driver to be doing a 351. Sorry, there's Tyler Scott with a 351.5. So as we can see, Morris is battling a little bit with 359.0. So you can see he's battling a bit with the car, maybe just pushing a little bit too hard. And he just needs to calm down a little bit and just get his focus back in, and he can be back up there, because that looks... That is Jake's. Oh, sorry, I was due to see Christo and Rockstar Mole in the rearview mirror of Jake's. But as we see, the race is back on with Robert and Uncle Dirkie. Looks like Dirkie lost a little bit out there. He's now 1.7 seconds behind. Like he did a little bit of a mistake because he dropped quite drastically back there. But as we see, there's still in the front Dylan with a 7.7 second gap. Let's see if Dylan can pull off his first win of the season. He's also been battling very badly with this season. Just hasn't come together with him this season. Even though he says he loves this car, but yeah, he battles quite a bit. And as you see, PB in second, Robert in third, Uncle Dirkie in fourth, Uncle Jakes in fifth. Then we have Krista in sixth, Rockstar Mal in seventh, Uncle Morris in eighth, and Tyler Scott in ninth. We had 11 drivers, one driver was disconnected, and Terry unfortunately retired to the pits. I think with just a little bit too much damage, didn't want to get in anyone's way. Yeah, Krista Jakes. Krista just overtook Jakes. We just missed that one. As you see, Krista on a 351.9. So he is also in the 51s. As we see, Dylan at 351.3. So he is flying here tonight. The guys are on very similar times. I think you just got to get that combination right with this track, and it will come right. So it's so easy to overdrive this track. Very easy to overdrive. Just gotta know when to hit your braking markers. As we see, Uncle Jakes takes a little bit of a tighter line there. I hope he doesn't get a penalty, because it looks like there is a little flag coming up there. Everything to race for tonight. As we see, Quicksilver just backing off a little bit. He is 1.9 seconds behind Stoll, so he's did a little bit of a bad mistake, but as we see, Krista and Jakes going back at it. Jake's trying to get that slipstream working for him, especially down this main straight. Very bumpy, very fast. If you get it right, it can work. See, just not close enough. Close the gap down to 0.5 of a second. So he's still underneath that second gap, which is still doable. He just needs to keep constant there. Because Krista doing a 352, Jake's on a 356. As you see, he has a time penalty. So I think that time penalty is a 2 second time penalty. Sure. It's a bit of a time penalty that to try and catch up. But yes, it looks like all the drivers have actually pitted. The only two drivers that haven't pitted is PB and Dylan. So it's going to be very interesting to see when they come out. It's going to be the next question. And some really fast and consistent driving from some drivers. Other drivers falling a little bit. As you see, Stoll's there doing a 351.8. So the guys are not very consistent yet tonight. The times are all over the place. As we see there, 350 is the time there. So Morris, pushing a little bit, but I think it's a little bit too late because we are on lap 8 right now. So we're just over the halfway mark of the race. And as you see, these two have been added all season. Uncle Jake's Jake's losing the rear end a little bit. Does Jock have a better run? Doesn't look like he's close enough to get the run on him. But he is very close. But it looks like Rockstar Mall could also have a time penalty coming up because we see a little flag coming up. Man, oh man, the time penalties in this race is going to be crucial because these guys are so close behind each other. As you see, Dylan doing a 350.8, Marius doing a 350.4. And we see stalls. What happened there? Jake's must had a bit of a time penalty coming his way. I think he just slowed down to eliminate that. So let's see if it goes away. Hasn't gone away yet. It's still his 2-second time penalty. So now it is Uncle Jake's to hunt down Rockstar Mole. Krista has pulled away quite nicely. He is trying to catch up to 4th and 3rd because I think he would like going a little bit wide there. He could get a time penalty there if he does not slow down, because that is a nasty one to get. I think that is a 2-second time penalty. That doesn't look like anything's come up yet, so it looks like he got away with it. Very lucky there. But other than that, Rockstar Mole and Jake's, they are two drivers that are on the hunt, and it looks like Rockstar Mole has got a bit of a gap on Uncle Jake's. So yeah, he's got just over a second on him. So it's like he's going to now try and pull him. But the two teammates are in 7th and 8th, so not a great race here this evening. Well, a little bit sad there, but it is what it is. That's how the cookie crumbles. As we see, Dylan is still in the front there, all lonely by himself, with a 11.7 second gap there. On lap 9, wow, feels like this race is forever. And I'm sure when you're driving, this race feels even longer because you've got to take all that pressure and also try and put it mentally to not do a mistake. That is, I think, the most trickiest part of this whole race, is not to do a mistake. Even the best drivers still do mistakes today. Now, it looks like Quicksilver has lost a bit of gap, so I don't know if he's just like taking it easy. Ooh, losing the rear and smoking up the tires a little bit, so I think the track is getting a bit hot now, because he's now doing a 352.1. And as you see, Morris with a 354. So, sure, track is not behaving, or cars not behaving themselves that great. And as you see, Dylan is in the pits, so let's see where he's going to come out. Is it going to be enough to still keep his first place? That is the question everyone is going to be asking. Not to change tires. PB goes past. He's not coming out, so it looks like Dylan is still going to be able to hold his first place, because Stoll is only coming through the S's right now. Dylan is still looking for the exit, so this is going to be very, very tight. And there's Dylan, he's out. Sure, what a race. Wow. So Dylan is your leader because PB hasn't pitted yet, but he's got a 16.5 second gap right now. So let's see what PB can do. When is he gonna pit? That is gonna be. Is he gonna wait down to the last lap to pit or what? Do a whole Michael Schumacher, Mika Hakkinen incident. I think it was in Silverstone, if I was correct. Bring a little bit of a history battle out there. But as we can see, Morris is coming out. Who has joined us? Duncan again. Morris is right there, and Tyler Scott right at the top of Morris. So those two are going to be fighting for position very soon. But as we see, only two drivers really that are so close is Quicksilver and Stoles. They still got a 1 second penalty, and as we see, Jakes has got a 3 second penalty right now. So those penalties are not going to add up, but yeah, as long as Dylan can stay ahead like this. Oh no, we don't want to cancel. Then we will still be fine. Man, this is a race and a half here tonight. Quicksilver in 4th place. A mighty all drive tonight. From Stone last to 4th. It's going to be a very interesting race. Still 4 laps to go. So let us see what can happen. As you see, Dylan has been able to close the gap a little bit. Not by much, but he is able to close something on PB tonight. So let's see what the race can actually hold out for us. Because if the race carries on, Morris could actually jump Jakes there, which will probably help him a little bit in the championship, but yeah, not much. I think if anything, Jakes needs the points also, but I'm not too sure how far Christo is, because that is the next driver to be watching, is Christo. I'm not 100% sure how far the points are. As you see, Quicksilver in 4th, still with Krista in 5th there, with Rockstar Molly in 6th, Jakes in 7th, Morris in 8th, and Tyler Scott in 9th. As we see, Morris just goes a little bit fast. Oh, and that was actually Scott that actually put in a sector 2 best, 142.4. So Tyler Scott going faster right now, but fastest is not always the keyword. As we see, Morris going a little bit wide through there. Don't know if he's going to get a penalty. No flags have come up yet. Just the rain unsettling there a little bit. As we see, Morris and Jakes, they are catching up closely to each other. As we see, Stalls is 8.2 seconds behind the leader. Oh, sorry guys. And then PB is 3.7 seconds in front of Dylan. So we are on lap 11 right now. Man, this is a race and a half to finish down to the wire. Let's see what is going to happen. Could PB pull off his first win of the season? Could Dylan? Nobody really knows. It just takes a one little mistake to throw it all away. And that is the last thing every driver is thinking right now. They just want to finish the race without any mistakes. And right now, Dylan has driven a fantastic race. I think from 6th place, 1st place if I'm correct. He's quite a crazy racer this evening. And as you see, Morris has now moved into 7th place. So something happened to Jake's there. I don't know if Tyler Scott and Morris made a move on Jake's, or did Jake's make a mistake? I don't see any damage yet on the car. The car looks still fine. Quicksilver in the back there lurking and just waiting for someone to do a mistake so he could pounce on a position. But right now he is in 4th place. In front of Marius, which is in 7th place, and as we see Tyler Scott just making a move on Marius there. What a very close there. Sure. Don't know if they did make contact or what, but it was very close that. Scott giving a bit of a race here for Marius. See when PB goes into the pits, and he goes into the pits right now. And there goes Dylan. So right now Dylan is on a great performance here tonight to actually be taking a 1 year. So let's see where PB is going to fall out. Is he going to fall into 5th place? Just in front of Rockstar Mall? Because that is what I'm estimating right now. It could even fall down a little bit more. Very long pit stop here. There we go. And so where is Krista? Krista is going down the main straight. So Krista has jumped PB. Rockstar Mall is coming down the main straight. But PB is not at the exit yet, but he is now coming down. Phew. So my estimation was pretty spot on there. Falling down into 5th place with Rockstar Mall on his heels now. Where Quicksilver is now in 3rd place. Stolz is in a 2nd place. His best performance the whole season, I think. Because he's been in a low order the whole season. As we see PB and Rockstar Mall, they are right behind each other. 1.8 or 1, no, I lie, sorry. 1.2 seconds behind PB. Morris disconnected there. I wonder if he just did a mistake. So that's not going to be too great for his championship. So Krista is on a 4th place, and the way it looks like, it doesn't look like he's going to get that 3rd, because he's still quite far behind. Jake's disconnected. Oh, it says he retired. So I'm not too sure if he disconnected or did he retire. So the two silverbacks not finishing the race this evening. Right now, as it stands, Quicksilver is your new champion. Well, I should say he's defending champion because I think he won last season, if I'm correct. It looks like Mario's had a bit of an internet problem there. Not a great one for him. But right now, we have Rockstar Mole gonna make a move on PB. So let's see if PB is gonna make it extremely hard for him. Or is Rockstar Mole a lot quicker than him right now? Because right now on the times it says something else. Okay, the PB was in the pits, but Rockstar Mole doing 354.3. As we see, the top three drivers all in the 350s. Dylan the quickest right now on that lap 13. See what their times are. 425, 354. The guys are a little bit off the pace here at the back. And as it comes down to lap 13 right now. One more lap. And Dylan could have his first victory tonight. If everything just goes his way, just keeps everything smooth, doesn't take any risks. As you see, Quicksilver got a bit of a time penalty there. Also got a 1 second time penalty. So, yes. But we still have PB and Rockstar Mole all racing for it. Looks like Rockstar Mole has fallen off the pace there a little bit. 1.2 seconds behind PB. Not putting much of a threat up there, but Quicksilver, it looks like he's trying to close that gap down. I think he's left it a little bit too late, because he's 2.6 seconds behind Stalls right now. Just pulling away, there is now to a 3.3 second. So as we have two new drivers on the podium this evening with this reversed grid. Nice to see some new faces on the grid here. Well, on the podium, not the grid, the podium this evening. One more lap to go, and these guys will have it all done and dusted. Christo just taking it a bit easy, no need to push right now. We still have these two drivers that are the closest and is actually battling right now, because it's going to come down to that last lap. Who's going to be close enough to take 5th place? Is PB still going to keep his 5th place, or is Rockstar Mole going to just come up a little bit more to secure his position in the championship? Nice and tight line there from PB. A little bit squirmish through the S's there. Getting slowly back on the juice. This is where your car loves to push nose, come so close to that wall. But as you can see, he's pushing that car to the max. He's not giving up this 5th place anytime soon to anyone.
Just for her, to count how many days left.
No, you're not. Oh, it's broken now, yeah.
Don't turn your mics on.
You had yours?
Yeah, just took one, so you
You
said...
had yours?
Yeah.
No.
Huh?
So we are on the last lap. So Dylan is leading with Stoles. Robert is in 2nd place. Quicksilver Uncle Dirk is in 3rd. Krista in 4th. PB in 5th. Rockstar Mole in 6th. And Tyler Scott in 7th. So as you see, Dylan is now at 349.9 right now. So he is right now the quickest man on the circuit. Driving those good years to a good year for him. So let's see what they can do. As we see PB is still trying to race Rockstar Mall. He's 1.9 seconds behind him. Not going to get any closer, but it looks like Quicksilver did a bit of a mistake there, because he's now down to 14.3 seconds, which is 9.6 seconds to stall. So Krista is now 6.7 seconds behind Quicksilver. Don't think it's going to be enough to catch him. But a great race from Quicksilver, from start last to 3rd on the podium. Well driven, very well driven. But the man of the hour is Dylan. On his victory dance lap. The race is not over, but yes, I'm sure he's celebrating in the back of his mind there. Just going a little bit wide there. Not pushing too much, just bring the car home safely. No need to push the car that hard anyway, since it's your last lap. It's like another 5 more corners. And it is home sweet home. And your winner, well driven, Dylan. Yes, a little bit of the flashlights. Yes, as we see him celebrating there in the back screen. I'm sure he's pretty chuffed with himself there. Sol in a 2nd, Quicksilver in a 3rd. Mr. Christo himself in a 4th place. And then Rockstar Mole actually jumping PB there. We must have missed that. And Tyler Scott right behind that whole battle, spinning out on lap 1 to catching up to the guys. Very well driven guys, very well driven. So as we are, my invite's just waiting. I'm sure probably it's just waiting for me. in which I can't even do the interview now because I gotta go race.
Stevie,
Yes, I hear you.
how are you doing?
How are you doing, champ?
Yo. I quite enjoyed that actually.
I'm sure you did, eh? Left it nice. Stayed out of trouble. So yeah.
So Stephen,
Not a.
I know that you need to run off and
Yes, I do.
go jump into the. Well, I see that I'm getting the invites there as well.
As well. Okay. Well, I'm gonna love and leave you guys.
Sweet.
See you on the other side.
Hundreds. Okay, let's see who we've got here. Is that Durkee? Hello, Durkee. Come in, Durkee.
Hello. Can you hear
Hello.
me?
Yes, I can.
Hey, lekker race there for you, eh?
Listen, I did put in some time, and
Oh, did you?
I did
It worked, eh?
little bit of practice on Saturday morning. But I must say, my setup that I had was really good. I was very confident in it. I ran the softs the whole way through, but I managed my tires, so I knew that in the last like quarter of the race, I knew that the track was going to get cold, and I knew I was going to lose front grip. But as long as I wasn't locking up, I was good.
Yeah, no. I was bad luck to have stalls in front of me when I got out of the pits, and my setup was running very low downforce. So I've tried 2 times to pass him, and it was too dangerous. And I saw, no, but Marius is behind me. My points are okay. So I just managed the 2-3 second gap. I said, no, let's play safe.
Well, I, in all honesty, I was basically just monitoring the gap between him and myself, and I made not a mistake, I just ran a little bit too deep, so I kind of lost my rhythm. But then that next lap I put in that 49.9. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll still have the pace if I really have to get there.
Yeah. No, that's a good time.
And this reverse grid off the championship points, did you like the little swing in the championship?
Yes, definitely. It was also a very difficult track to have it on, because all the cars was running top speed on the straight, so you couldn't really get into a slip and pass. You know, so as soon as you get closer to that other car, you will push it a little bit as well, and then it will run the 296 with you. So the slipstream didn't really help. But yeah, when I was running right at the back, I realized that my low downforce was actually a wrong setup for me, because I was struggling behind Marius, and that's why I went for the early pit stop. And when I went for the early pit stop, Stalls also went for the early pit stop, and that holded me back a little bit, because I couldn't go, my 49s.
Yeah.
Because as soon as I got close to him, I was losing my car, and the risk was just too high. So I just kept the 2-3 second gaps between us and finished the race. So yeah, but I'm still happy with that.
No, absolutely awesome. I found very much the same thing when I was catching Brandon. So through the twisty stuff, I was running a 1.6 downforce. I tried the 0.3, I tried the 1.3, I tried a 1.5, and I just felt that the 1.6 just had a nice balance, specifically when you were chasing a car.
Yeah. I was on 0.3, so yeah. It was difficult for me.
I learned that lesson. The other thing I found with the 0.3 is that your tire wear was a lot higher.
Yeah.
Because the car was sliding a bit more.
Yes. No, but it was awesome, and the championship is done, so yeah.
Yeah.
Lekker.
I can't believe it's done. That's it. No more Monday Night League racing for this year.
Yeah, it's amazing, man.
Well, other than the Bravo tier that is going to be starting shortly, we see that the guys are just waiting for some thumbs to go up. and we'll get cracking there. Robert,
Dylan,
second place for you on the podium.
No, that was good fun. Trying to catch you, but you were just too quick.
No, I was monitoring your gap properly. I took it nice and
Yeah.
easy in the beginning on the soft tires, and then as soon as the car started getting lighter, I made a huge miscalculation. I was still carrying 30 liters by the end of the race.
Oh,
that's a lot.
really? Not cool.
But
Oh, no, that was fun.
your early pit stop allowed you to stay in front of Durkee, and you managed to hang on to a second place there.
Yeah, Donkey caught me a few times and then made little errors behind me on the fast, twisty stuff. So I was just lucky, very lucky.
But listen,
But it was fun.
I'll definitely take a podium here at the 24 Hours of Le Mans circuit any day. 14 laps on this track, man, oh man, it does take a lot of concentration.
No,
Yeah,
no,
please.
that's it.
First race this season, I never made a mistake. So yeah.
I made one slight error where I went a little bit too deep in just going into sector 3, and then I realized, but hold on, I need to just gather my thoughts, and that was when I did my 49.9. I thought, no, can't let Mol Stoltzy catch up here.
Sure.
No, absolutely awesome. So guys, thank you very much. I am going to just jump into the Bravo tier, and if you do want to just
Cool.
stick around and enjoy, the stream should be running, and we can chat.
Yeah, cool.
100%.
Let me just get some of my glasses there so that I can see what's going on in my phone.
Right, everyone, we are just about to start the Bravo tier. 14 drivers here this evening, and as was mentioned, is that we did have a reverse grid off the starting lineup, something a little bit different, and it definitely got a little bit more excitement. I managed to start 5th on the grid and work my way up to taking a podium win. Yep, it does feel awesome when you're able to do that. So just in terms of the PC2 standings, we'll just look at the Bravo tier. I want to see whether Killer Dave, so Dave is not with us, so that means Nassif, he's not with us either. Johan VDV not with us, which means that that's going to be Silverback. He is not here, which puts Donovan next in line, who's not here, which means that it's actually Colin who's going to be leading the way here, followed by Dane in 2nd place. James will be in 3rd, Memo in 4th place, then Duncan. We did see him in the lobby, probably chatting to Stephen during the Alpha tier race. Then we'll have Yanni, Pete, Stephen, Ricky B, who's Ricardo, Brandon Dos Santos, and Rudy all the way at the back. I wonder whether he will be able to work his way out. And this track, definitely a track of nutrition. You've got to definitely keep it on the track, otherwise any little mistakes, and that is the end of your race. Durkee,
I'm here.
that is so true, right? You've got to just keep it nice and tidy. It's a long race, and no point trying to make massive dives, as you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, no, it looks easy, but it's definitely not. You know, because of the high speeds and some of those corners, the speeds that you carry through them, if you lose that downforce, it becomes a nightmare. So, yeah, you have to keep your mind clear and, you know, have it tight and make sure that you hit all the apexes and have it on the road all the time. Because if you lose it here, it's over. It's a long track to go and repair damage, you know what I mean? So, yeah, you have to be on the ball here, man.
And I did see that when some of the guys did have a crash, it was definitely a big one, and that's because the speeds that you're going at are quite high, and exactly what you mentioned is that it looks like these guys are racing for some reason, where they should have just slowed down a little bit. Nevertheless, you kind of need to just take it easy, and not try and win the race in the first lap, and essentially just get into your rhythm. And once you've got that rhythm, then you start your race.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I mean, like we did right at the back, that early pit stop really helps. Just to get out of the dirty air and get some clean air in front of you. Well, mine didn't work out that well because I also had Stolz pitting with me. But anyway, you know, that's the plan. He wasn't too slow, so I could still manage to catch up some places. But I think if you're right at the back, the thing to do is just to catch an early pit stop and you know, get some clean air and go for it.
So I started in 5th place, and I honestly thought that I might get stuck in some traffic. But what I found is that once everybody was going, we were all up to speed, is that those gaps, because this track is so fast, is they start developing very, very early on.
Yeah.
And what I found very interesting is that when you start creating these little groups, is that those groups almost stick together. So it's very difficult to make up time when you...
Yeah, you can't get away.
Yeah, 100%. So I'm just watching these guys, and it doesn't look like they have started the race, because they all seem to be just jockeying for position. So it is a little bit confusing, as there's a car.
Maybe they're going to take a complete formation lap. They misunderstood how it should work, and I think that they're going to go for a full formation lap here.
So that is quite possible, but I see we are down to 10 drivers. We did start with 14. So something, we have already lost some drivers. I'm not sure why or how that would be the case, nevertheless. But I do get the sense that it looks like Steven's now gone up, but then again he was just jumping on those brakes.
Yeah, my screen is a little bit small. So are they already busy racing here, or are they busy with the formation lap? I'm not sure what's going on here.
Well, I must say that I do feel like I'm in the dark a little bit here as well, because it looks like the pace is not really race pace, but they're still jockeying for position, and it is all very, very strange. Because the whole idea was to go get in your position, line up at the Mulzon straight after that first chicane, and once everybody was out, start racing. But it does look like they're off and going, because we see Rudy was supposed to have started down at the back, but he's already moved himself up into 6th place, so I'm assuming that this is race.
Yeah. So I can, but there's a lot of gaps between the guys. There's only a little battle here and there, but maybe they will catch up to each other and see what happens from there.
Well, currently that's Colin and Ricardo having a little battle, which is very nice to see. But all you're doing is that, what I found myself doing is when I was following Brandon, is I was actually getting out of your slipstream, because what I was seeing is that the temperatures just start increasing when you're in that slipstream, and your car's revving at its maximum, and that oil temperature was just flying through the roof. So I was actually getting out of the slipstream just to try and help cool the car down a bit.
Yeah, I've done the same. And the other thing that what happened was, because I was running such low downforce, when I was staying in the slipstream, I was actually pushing the guy away from me when you're getting through that dirty air. So so I was getting out of the slipstream to actually get closer to him, so that I don't push him along as well, you know, because I had a lack of topping and I could hit the 296 very early in the straight, so I could catch up with moving away out of the slipstream instead of staying in it.
Well, that was quite a good move there by Yanni, just slipping himself around the outside, going into the first Mulzon chicane, and exiting out that quite decently.
Yeah, I think talking about Yanni, I think when he can join, if he can get his grips and he can join in Alpha 2, he's quite fast. I mean, he's old online racer. He was just absent for a couple of years. So I think when he get to grips, he's going to also be a fast guy to get, to reckon with. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, Memo just losing that rear there as he got into the power, going through the second of the chicanes, and just tying himself up with James, unfortunately. But we now have a little battle, still heating up now, but Rudy trying to get himself ahead of Colin, because we see that Ricardo has been able to get himself ahead of Colin, and Rudy must have got a great drive coming out of the... It is such a crazy corner that they've just come out of, because you've got a little kink, you hit the brakes going from just about 270 kilometers an hour down to a second gear corner, and if you get that wrong, you land up in the wall across the road. Oof.
Yeah, and if you lose it there, those walls are just too close on that high speed coming into that corner. That's a very dangerous place to be and to make a mistake.
Yeah, that through Indianapolis is I was actually gearing down before going in there just to help that car settle. Then on the brakes to the right hand side, down into third, and then by the time I got down to third, I was able to turn in and just hold that line nice and tight on the inside and stay away from that dirt on the outside.
Yeah, I also geared down there. I think it works well to get the car stable through there,
And you could just see with Rudy using his controller, just throwing this car through the section, and the curb on the outside there is so dangerous. Just as I was about to say, the guys must stay away from the curb on the outside, because if you do touch that, generally you land up on the wall on the left hand side.
Yeah, this car didn't like these curbs at all, so you must just stay away from them. It's not worth it to try and hit the apex down the curb. You just stay away from it.
Ooh, great exit again there from Yanni as he gets himself ahead of Colin. It looked like he was just building that up a little bit.
Yes, he had a good run out of that corner, man.
And I believe that Yanni's been... Whoa! Colin going very sideways there on the brakes. Just touching the dirt as he went through the Dunlop corner. I believe that Yanni has been doing some practice with the likes of the Rockstars.
Yeah, he was around, so we were trying to help him and France a little bit to get up to grips with the setups and stuff like that. So yes, I don't know when he practiced for this track because it wasn't with us. I think you've spent some time with himself. I was away for the weekend, so I'm not sure who helped him, or maybe he helped himself. I'm not sure, but it looks like he's doing well there, getting closer to the other guys.
So we see that that is Grant going into the pits, getting that pit stop done and dusted. See a little bit of damage on the windshield, so I'm sure that he's going to just repair some of the damage. And we now have Duncan closing up the gap on the back of Colin, going into the first of the chicanes. And Duncan got a great drive coming out. He's now got himself side by side to Colin. And now we know that the next chicane will go to the left hand side, and it's you can actually brake quite a lot later on the chicane than you can on the first. I see Colin just letting Duncan go through there. Ooh, little kick of the rear there for Duncan. And it is so strange that the time penalty, so that little white line you're seeing on the left hand side of the track, is that you've got to be so careful on the exit, because if you do go over that, what then happens is you get yourself a little time penalty for your sins. And my time penalty that I got was actually coming onto the corner just before the Mills-on straight, and for some reason that time penalty didn't go away. I clipped the curb on the inside.
Yeah, because a lot of these time penalties go away after a while. If your sin wasn't too big, it will take the time penalty away. But yeah, that doesn't always work like that.
So we see that the other of the rock stars, this is the Rockstar Mal, has jumped into the Discord. Jacques, how are you? Happy with your race, or with a new word at Bratni?
No, I'm happy. I'm happy. I know I didn't put a lot of effort in this weekend, but I'm happy.
And,
I'm happy. I'm happy for my teammate, happy for Team Rockstar. So yeah, I'm happy.
And the track, do you enjoy driving this track?
To be honest, it's not one of my favorites. But yeah, it's done, it's dusted, so yeah, it's finished. So,
and another
yeah,
year of Monday Night League SARCO done and dusted.
but it was a lekker season, I must admit. I enjoyed the car and it was close racing. Some silly mistakes now and then, but other than that, nice racing.
So we are just checking the action here with Memo closing down on the back of Dane. And oof, that's a little bit wide. And that was the exact corner where I made my little mistake. But now he's wide on the curb. Memo, I thought you were going to touch that curb. But he is safely through there.
I think he might also struggle with a bit of downforce when he gets closer.
Oof.
Oh, went straight there. That might give him a penalty.
Completely missed that braking point. So I see that Stephen right out in the front, he's got a lead there, but Ricardo 3.8 seconds, so that time is starting to come down ever so slightly, and that's because what I've seen is that Ricardo currently has the fastest lap time. So a 155.4 there. Ooh, it's actually Rudy 155.3. So as this race continues to build, that 6 seconds between Rudy and Steven is that there might be some extra action later on. And we are finding that those pit stops do just bring everybody back into play later on in the race.
Yeah, it does. And the other thing is, we're going to have to look out for the last 5 laps, because the guys with the low downforce will slide around a bit, like I did, and the guys with the higher downforce will come back into the mix. So that can also change things up a bit.
And then Dirk, in terms of the tyre choice that you guys went with, were you running the hards or did you take the softs?
No, I was on the hards. I couldn't get my times on the softs in the beginning, so I've decided to stay away from them. So I couldn't get them working on this track, so I was on the hards all the time. I don't know what Jacques was running.
Yeah, I was running softs, yeah.
Yeah, me and Jacques was on completely different setups. He was also on a higher downforce than me. I think he was running 1 and 5, Jacques, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was on 0-3, so yeah. But, I was away for the weekend, like I said, so we didn't really spend time together. So yeah, we just went in our own different ways, you know what I mean? We worked the setup.
100%. No, look, and the beauty about
It sounds if we stay together.
we just needed a break from each other over the weekend.
Yeah, it feels like I've got a brother already, you know. When I'm never, I'm always in conversation with Jacques on a daily basis, really, you know. So
a little battle carrying on here. We saw that Memo managed to get himself ahead of Dane, but no, Dane fighting back. And the funny thing is this, we have heard earlier, just in terms of the slipstreams, is that once the cars are all up to speed, it's the cars generally go the same speed, but it's here through the twisty stuff where the setup either makes or breaks your lap.
yeah, it looked a little bit loose there on the braking.
And I saw that both Dane and Memo were a little bit wide, didn't quite touch that inside apex as Memo touches the dirt on the outside, and that's going to spin him around. A little touch of the nose there between Dane and Memo.
Yeah, I think Dane will definitely have some damage there, same for Memo. So it's not going to be lucky in the straight to have them carry that damage with you.
So if I were with them, I would take my pit stop now, get that damage fixed. With 10 laps still to go, there's still time
Yeah, definitely.
to be made up. it does sound like Memo has lost it. Yeah. So I think that was an understeer going into the corner. And unfortunately, you can see him damage on the front there. So he's definitely clipped that outside wall. But Ricardo, that pace definitely getting faster and faster. And as I say that, I see that Stephen also did a 54.7. But that gap now down, it was sitting around 3.8. It's now down to 3.3. So half a second has been made up in the last 2 laps or so. So just see how that car just changed position when he went from the left to the right. It definitely, Ricardo's car is properly hooked up, which is really awesome to see.
Yeah, Rudy is also on speed. I see that Rudy did a 54.5, so he's definitely catching up little bit by little bit.
So we do have Stephen 3.5 seconds ahead of Ricardo. Then it is Ricardo now in second place, then Rudy in third. And we should, I think as we go to the back of the straight, we should be able to see all 3 cars. There goes Stephen, there's Ricardo and Rudy. So only just over 5.5 seconds separates these guys. So definitely a race is going to be building up very, very soon. And as we see, Memo, the little pit signal is up, so he has gone into the pits. Dane obviously choosing to just stick with that little bit of damage that he may possibly have, rather just continue racing, hold on to his lap position.
So Batman still got a lot of work to do. It's a bit down there on the time.
Yeah, that looks like a 59 is definitely a little mistake.
Yeah. I think the previous lap was a 408 or something.
Yeah, that's definitely not going to help his mission to try and close down these guys. So jump to our race leader, Stephen. 3.3 seconds is still the gap between himself and second place Ricardo. And it's going to be interesting to see when they cross the timers what's happened in terms of the gap. Ooh, Stephen really fighting that car on the brakes. And you can see a little bit wide there for Stephen. Just didn't get the car slowed down enough to rotate it. And it is so important to get the car slowed down and try and ride an understeer going into quick, because all you're doing is you're just burning up those tires. So you can see that gap now 2.7 seconds. So Ricardo definitely on the charge now.
Yeah, that's a very expensive mistake there, especially on that specific part of the track. You lose a lot of time there.
Oh,
yeah.
Stephen touching the inside, and that spat him out onto the wall. So you can see now Ricardo moving up into first place, Rudy second, and now Stephen. He's going to be having a little bit of damage, so I'm pretty sure that we'll see him going into the pits now. And to recover from that crash, just to get your mind settled, it is so frustrating when that happens.
Yeah, man, that's a pity. He was having good pace and yeah.
So we see Stephen just peeling off to go into the pits, and I did exactly the same thing. Completely misjudged that corner. I thought it had a more gentle kink, so I definitely went off.
I think he's going to spend a while in the pits there to get that car repaired.
Hopefully it's just aero damage. If it is just aero damage, that is just a couple of seconds. But now Rudy 53.9 there for him, so he's now within a second of Ricardo. And Rudy, do you see that rear just kicking off that curb? So here that Ricardo came off the power there, so that's going to allow Rudy to carry a lot more speed as they come into the Wilson straight.
Yeah, that's an even fast for him.
I wonder if he didn't maybe slow down for a penalty as well, because if you ran wide, you get a penalty on the screen, but it does go away at the bottom. So
Well, I did have one, and I ended up keeping my 1 second as a memory.
Yeah, I
Did
also
well
managed to get a
tonight.
1 second penalty.
So I would rather just come off the throttle and then just get my foot down, because I just wasn't sure where everybody was circulating and where they would come out in terms of those pit stops. Because the last thing you need is you carry yourself a little 5 second time penalty and you come out
Yeah.
and you're 3 seconds ahead, and then that's when you start pushing and you make guck for yourself and then you stick it in the wall.
Yeah.
I see Batman is again on a 402. So yeah, something ain't lacking with his setup.
Duncan, so that's Duncan closing up the gap there. So Duncan's just got just 2.5 seconds to go, and Duncan will be right up behind him as I think there was a little bit of commentator's curse, because here comes Stephen. He'll have the driver coming out of the second chicane. Stephen will go around the outside. Pretty similar to what happened with myself and Brandon. He just didn't get his power or the drive out of that second chicane, and I was able to go around the outside. And then here on the brakes, this is always very tricky to follow. Stephen going very, very tight. Great line there, taking a lot of curb on the inside. And that was kind of the line that I was taking as well. You can ride that curb nicely, as long as you're not touching those little chevrons, is that time, or that corner is then counted and you don't get a time penalty for it. So I saw that Ricardo was within a second, and then all of a sudden that came off. So I think there might have been a time penalty warning there for Ricardo, because he is slowed down, and Steven still once again carrying way too much speed. Well, Steven definitely is battling a bit. I wonder whether he is on those softs and he's just overcooked those rears a little bit. Because once they start getting up to that 1.8 bar, they start feeling a little bit snotty, and you got to wait for them to just drop a little bit of temperature, and that's when that grip comes back.
Yeah, that was basically my starting pressures on the softs.
Oh, yeah, but
1.84.
yeah, so my starting pressures were 175 on the rears and 177 in the fronts. But during the race, they were 181 in the first half. But as soon as we started going to that second half, they were sitting at 169 and then 180 on the rears. So the rears were good, but I was definitely feeling a little bit of understeer. So Rudy and Ricardo both going to the pits at the same time. So that's going to be interesting to see. Huh? That really confused me. Rudy is on his way out. So Ricardo definitely had a much better pit stop, because that gap is now, just wait for Rudy to cross that sector, because that's 11 seconds all of a sudden. So I wonder whether there was some sort of mistake there. I wonder whether they took each other out, because Stephen, we saw him going to the pits and he had some damage, but he's come out ahead of them. You can see his lap time was 4:14, and he's come out ahead of Duncan, Ricardo, and Rudy.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there.
That's really confused me. Which means that old Yanni out in front, he's the new leader.
Yeah, I know. He must try and borrow Superman's suit now to gain some speed. Because Batman ain't the flyer.
Did he already had his pit stop?
I don't think so.
No, Yanni was he had a couple of 4 minutes lap times there, so I'm not too sure that he has made that pit, considering that Stephen, Duncan, Ricardo and Rudy, they've all pitted. So I'm assuming that he would come out between Rudy and Colin, should he need to take that pit stop now.
Yeah, there's about a 25-26 seconds pit stop.
Yeah, no, I hit everything about the race I did this evening was spot on. My pits, I hit the pit box. It was a absolutely perfect stop, lifted, did the fuel, gooi, done. 6.7 seconds, Dafate. So Stephen's starting to close up that gap now between himself and Yanni. 2.1 seconds, sure, sliding the car through there. And you can see that Yanni is staying a little bit too far to the left before trying to go through the Indianapolis S's. Yeah, that rear of Yanni's is looking very loose. You can see as he got into that power how the rear, it squatted and then it just lifted up a little bit. I would have liked just a little bit more of a rear stabilizer increase there, just to keep that car putting that power down onto the track and not necessarily letting it lift up. So another battle beginning to take shape, and this is Colin chasing Colin James chasing Colin, but now James will have the inside through the kink. They're going to go side by side. There will be another kink, and then we'll be going into the Indianapolis S's, and that is not a place to be going too wide through now. So one of them is going to have to heat up the attack, and Colin decides to rather just let James through. I think that was the right move there, that's for sure. James, having had the inside line, was definitely in the better position to win that corner.
Yeah, no, that was a good move from him. Now let's see if he can keep up. Looks like he's already losing space there.
Yeah, Colin is definitely falling back just a little bit. But I saw a little flicker, the little notification saying that we've got Ricardo starting to catch up to Duncan. Ooh, someone's taken the little bollard with him. You can see how Ricardo is just throwing that car through there. Actually using that slide, where I always felt that if that car is going sideways through there and you touch that curb, it is tickets. So it's better not to tempt fate, and rather just point it through there nice and easy. If you do hit the curb, just straighten out the wheel and ride the curb, as opposed to trying to catch it on the way sideways.
So I almost think Terry and Marius lost it through there. I didn't know what happened.
Oh, Duncan losing the rear. And that car just over-rotated, which allowed Ricardo to go through. But now that's...
Yeah, Steven, he also lost it because I saw in the footage someone reversing. So that was probably Steven.
So we know that Steven and Ricardo, they have been fighting for this first place, and Yanni 5.5 seconds up the road now. And if Yanni is able to hang on there, because now we've got Steven, Ricardo, we are going to have cutting beef. That's Duncan. There he is coming around the corner now. So the guys have been overtaking. I think that is the 10th place Grant that the guys have been going past there in the orange and black livery. There he is. You see that car very, very squirmish on the brakes there. But now we definitely have a race on with 6 laps left to go. And I have tried to say some of the French corners, but I just know I'm going to absolutely destroy them, so I would rather just refer to the ones that I know. So Steven still, see the guy's not hugging that inside curb.
It's so lekker to touch it.
Yeah.
When you hit it right.
And that was all part of the line that I was going through, is as you go through the little right-hander, gear down on the brakes, down into fourth, and then just as you turn in, down into third, just coast, don't touch it, but just right up against the inside of that curb. Let the car float out, just touch the curb on the outside, and then set yourself up for the right-hander. And this track is all just about that flow and about that rhythm. Once you've got the rhythm, it's so much easier to drive. Ooh, Steven touching that curb on the outside, and so did Ricardo. And Yanni has put it sideways. He lost the rear, so deciding now's the time to go into the pits. And that's a good thing that this is sim racing, because if it was in real life, I'm sure he would have been in a little bit of trouble there for changing his line and crossing the track to go into the pits. So 5 laps left to go, and this is currently the battle for first and second place. So Rudy 12.2 seconds down, and just want to see who's got the fastest lap so far. So it is Rudy with a 53.9. And only James with his 2-second time penalty. Ooh, I think that was Grant. So Grant is up and running once again. I'm sure Rudy's eyes jumped out of his socket seeing a car just going off in front of you. So into the first of the Mulsanne chicanes. And there's Rudy in the background there.
I think if you have a lot of brandy and coke, you will pronounce the names nice.
Let's see. Côte d'Artrose. Clearly I don't have any brandy in me.
It will just come out better then.
So that's Steven running wide there on the exit, which is going to allow Ricardo to close up right behind him. And is this going to be an overtaking opportunity into this last corner down the straight here? He's going to try to go around the outside. Oh, there's a little touch, and Steven and Ricardo touched, both sliding off. Oh, didn't get that car to rotate.
Damaged. Yeah.
And all that does is it just damages the aero, damages any suspension that you got.
Comes Rudy.
And here comes Rudy with a good, clean exit. So he's going to be able to put a lot more pressure on Ricardo. But I must say, not much of a front bumper wiggling. So I wonder whether it's just like a 5% or 7% damage there on that front bumper.
Well, that's going to make a big difference on the top end.
Definitely. But Rudy must now just be patient. Oof, little understeer. Rudy, it looks like he just got those rear brakes just a little bit locked up as he turned in there. And I'll say it looked like Rudy got a great exit, but Ricardo's exit, even though it didn't look as tidy, it was just about the same in terms of the speed. But now we can see the straight line speed differentials, where Rudy, without the front damage, is able to get better aero, better downforce as Rudy just touches that inside. You can see how he just opened up that wheel again just to straighten up. And it took me so long to find how to stabilize the rear. Rudy just decides he's not going to try to touch the curb. He'll just run it very, very wide. But I suppose by doing that, you are limiting the amount of damage you can possibly do.
Yeah, Ricardo's actually doing very well, keeping Rudy behind him, even though he's carrying some of that damage. So far, so good.
Ooh, that was so close.
Oh no, that never something.
It was Rudy right up against the outside wall, and that could have spelled absolute disaster.
Oh, that was almost a recipe. Definitely not for Malva pudding.
Definitely not.
Yeah, I think Rudy must just get some patience there behind him and get his lines more perfect, and you know, because he's got the car without damage, and he must just use it right. I think he's a bit over eager at this point in time to get past.
So we'll bring up the straight line speed indicator, well, I suppose this is speedometer, but you can see Ricardo just trying to get rid of that slowdown penalty. So Ricardo just really break into the 280, so 281, 283. So
It's not that bad.
it's not too bad. So maybe it is very, very minimal in terms of that damage. So down the Mulsanne Straight, we're back in the 60s when this track was built. They didn't have the chicanes, and it was just one long straight. Just imagine opening up your GT40 back in 1966 and flat out down there. Absolutely incredible and crazy at the same time.
I don't think he's got a lot of damage because he was 290 again now.
So I do also possibly think that the slipstream that he's getting from Rudy is definitely helping him as well. So we are on lap 10 of 14. And we did scrap the qualifying. We're supposed to have done a formation lap 2 after the first chicane of the Mulsanne Straight, and it just looked like the Alpha, well, the Bravo guys were like, let's go racing, and off they went as Ricardo now just spins that around, touches the front bumper up against the Armco on the outside. So if he was looking for a fight back with Rudy, that's definitely hasn't helped his chances.
You know, looking at the lap times at this point in time, it looks like everybody's struggling because you've got 409s and 401s, 403, 406, 407. So I think the guys are struggling a little bit in this point in time.
Because this is the point where you actually should be going quicker than you were earlier, because your
the fuel load's
going
light
down, the track is starting to cool up a little bit, so the tires are working better, so you are definitely able to push. Even on my half-worn mediums, I was able to still do those low 50s.
Stephen going into the pits again.
So Stephen must have got himself some more damage.
Or maybe low on fuel.
Yeah.
I can't see there.
That,
Is it 50 something?
yeah, that fuel gauge is not always accurate. Well, here comes Ricardo. He's also going to go into the pits. I wonder whether that is to get some damage repaired. So they're not
But yeah, boys.
changing
I'm out of here.
tires, they're not putting fuel, so it might just be a little bit of a damage repair. Which now
Enjoy
promotes
your evening.
Donkey Jacques. Thank you for the race.
Okay,
Thank you for
Dirkie,
the say
get
soon.
Dylan.
Thank you
There's
for
no problem.
assisting in the hosting for the season.
Yeah, no problem. But
Well,
yeah,
thanks, Jock.
like a Dirk. I'll
Was that a
take
lekker one, eh?
you too. Chat to you tomorrow.
100% we'll do that.
Okay, man. Bye.
Yes.
Cheers, Jacques. So only 3 more laps left for the Monday night racing for not only the season but for the year. We will still have a couple special events, but we will give it just a week's break, just so that we are able to take a little bit of a break. But next week Thursday we will definitely do some sort of special events. We will still run some 5x5s over the weekend if there are guys that are around. So there still will be racing, but there won't be any league racing as such.
Yeah, when I get back from my leave, I'm going to have to start learn all over again because I'm going to be gone for a month.
Yo, that sounds like a great holiday.
Yeah. So I'll start at the back when I get back.
So Colin now chasing down James. So even though these guys are 11 laps in, still fighting, you can see 286, and Colin just coming onto the brakes a little bit earlier. Don't want to be going into that braking zone too wide. There's not much space when you go through there on your own. So Colin now setting up in the slipstream behind James. Ooh, a little bit hot there for James. Just manages to keep the car on the inside of that curb. Because if you do cut that curb, and now, so that little corner that he's not just cut, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a time penalty warning there, because that's not part of the track limits. The track limits are the 2 white dotted lines on either side of the track, so you do have to be quite careful in terms of the lines that you take in here.
Yeah, I'm looking at the lap times now. I see the guys are still struggling here in the 4 minutes. It's very strange.
I wonder whether that's just the temperature now really playing against them. Possibly if you haven't driven the car or run a full simulation, you don't know what the tires are doing. That could also, obviously impact on the performance. Guys a little bit more hesitant, not pushing as hard. A tire wear is definitely comes a factor. I'm not too sure what the tire wear was like on the hards, Dirkie.
No, there was no wear, maybe a little bit, 10 or 5%, 10%. It was very little, but the problem is that the hards was running too cold at the end, and it was very slippery. But yeah, my setup was very fast on the hards. I could run 49s all day long if I didn't have a car in front of me.
Yeah.
But and then the last 4 laps, I was gonna go down to about 150s, high 150s. But yeah, it didn't work out that way. But anyway, still lekker. Was a lekker race.
And that's always the challenge, right? Is that when you practice, there's something very different about being able to do fast lap times versus racing competitively.
No, definitely, definitely. I mean, the pressure is not there, and you don't think about all this other stuff. Watching the times in the corner and see what who's on their way and who's pulling away. Yeah, it's much different.
And then obviously the other thing is when you've got that guy in your mirror and you start checking that, okay, that's my breaking point, but is he going to break at the same place, or am I going to get a little nudge?
Yeah, it works on your nerves a bit there. Especially on this high-speed track, so it is a problem.
So James is behind Colin again. So James is going to have to find another way around Colin. But now as they enter onto the Mulsanne Straight, I'm pretty sure a slipstream will do the trick. We can just see the speeds that they're currently doing. And also the engine damage. Colin being very, very cheeky there. But it looks like James might be able to get onto the brakes. He goes a little bit later on the brakes, and it does get that car turned in, and it gets himself back up into 6th place.
Yeah, that was a good dice down the straight. It was lekker close there.
And it's those little things. Is all you're doing is you're just making your opponent just a little bit uncomfortable. You see the car coming closer towards you. That do you move? Do you just hold your ground? And that's all. Some of the mind games that we do like to play with each other. No, Colin's gonna rotate that all the way around. Oh, he managed to catch it. Sure.
Oh yeah, he's got it.
Nice one, Colin.
He's got some work to do now.
We had every little bit of faith in you.
Yeah, he's got some hard work to do now. I'm sure he can try and catch up again. Rudy's doing a very good job there.
So guys, we're just going to run through the current order. Rudy out in front. 37-second gap. Yanni having to go into the pits again. A couple of mistakes, but he finds himself in 2nd place. Only 5 seconds is the gap between himself and Steven. So we see Steven there coming down the hill. Steven in 3rd place, and he's got 9 seconds between himself and Duncan. Duncan is in 4th. Then in 5th place, Ricardo. He's had a lot of really good pace, but a few pit stops this evening as well. And that contact with Steven going into a massive braking zone, and you can just see the front bumper not happy there. Colin and James still mixing it up, and there's James on the inside. So coming through Indianapolis, he's over rotated, got himself up on the inside of the wall, and that does look like that's definitely going to hurt. The front bumper not happy at all. James in 7th place. Then we've got Dane in 8th. Oof. Little 4-wheel lock up there, sliding sideways and just missing that tire wall in 8th place. Then 9th place is Memo. We also saw him losing the rear, just overcooking that into the braking zone there. And then Grant down in 10th place, but on the same lap as the leaders. So I'm pretty sure that he will be happy to just keep circulating, just keep it on the track.
Yeah, and I mean, Rudy is far ahead of in the championship, so this really seals his championship points there. Oh, my goodness.
Sorry, Grant. So it just donates his front bumper to the wall there, and that car is going to be extremely difficult to drive now without that downforce. But Ricky B back into the pits, so Ricardo in the pits, which now gets Colin up into 5th place. And it seems that Colin is just driving his own race, is not pushing too hard, just keeping on the black stuff, and he's just hoping that those around him are the ones that are going to be making the mistake.
Yeah, at this point in time, Rudy's on in a league of his own, because he's doing a 3:55.9 there in the last lap.
So Rudy, a 53.9 is his fastest lap. And Rudy, one of the guys that has been part of SARCO from quite early on in the SARCO inception. So don't be fooled by Rudy being here in the Bravo tier. And there's been a couple of seasons where Rudy has qualified, but he's just missed that Alpha tier spot by 1 or 2 places in terms of that qualifying. So Rudy will definitely be promoted up into the Alpha tier for his next season, and I'm pretty sure he'll be happy to mix it up there. And
it's amazing that he does all that with a controller. I mean, I can't believe that.
And he is changing gears, he is braking, he is steering, all at the same time. And it's just amazing to see how the car reacts, because Rudy's inputs are either full or not at all. It's very difficult to just feed the car in with the controller.
Yeah, because you don't have the feedback. You have to look at what happens around you. You know, it's all a visual input that you've got there. So you can't feel that the remote doesn't give you that feel like when the car starts to lose grip and stuff like that. So it's just a different level of driving the car with a remote than with a steering wheel.
Yeah, I must say I do really battle driving the car with the controller, and you think that you can do it, but the fact is that I've been using the wheel for the last 6 years now.
Same, yeah.
So difficult. Back in the Gran Turismo Sport, I made my move then, so that was a good couple of years ago. And you definitely lose that feel, because you know when to turn, the car understeers, but then you know the setup will grip and it will hold, whereas you can't drive the car, you point and accelerate, and that's the difference between the controller and the wheel.
Yeah, definitely.
So see, Ricardo is not done just yet, fighting with James, and they are on their 13th lap. And I really dig this section. This is definitely my favorite part of the circuit. That once you turn in, you get that foot planted and you go flat out all the way until you see the little blue bits, then you gear down to 5th, just let the car rotate, and once you see the little opening for the left-hander, back on the gas and just hope that you don't run wide. That was very ambitious there by Ricky, having a very late dive there, and I'm pretty sure that he will be asked to give that place back or be served a massive time penalty. We're just going to jump back to our race leader quickly just to see where he is on the circuit, but he is approaching Indianapolis. So I want to see how this battle is going to shape up. But it does look like Ricardo is starting to pull away from James now.
No, I see James's front bumper is flapping around there.
And even just that sound, and you can hear it, and it just makes such a noise. So even though James does have that damage, you can see he's still getting those top speeds. 288 kilometers an hour, but where he'll definitely feel the impact is through the fast twisty bits. Oof, I thought that Ricardo's rear was going to let go there. Oof, as James fights at RS01 left and right as he gets onto the power. So Rudy, Rudy riding that curb, and I thought, that's it. He's going to land up in the wall. So on the brakes, gear down. Now you should brake again into second gear. Ride the curb, and Rudy will come up to his pit wall to get his pit crew chief a huge thumbs up. Great drive there from Rudy. Would have had to have started all the way at the back and just kept the race clean and brought it home in first place.
No, he did very well, and also securing his championship there. So yeah, Yanni had a good race. Came up to second place, even though he had a lot of mishaps in the race.
So he
still made second place.
He definitely battled a little bit, but I'm sure he'll be very happy with his result. And Stephen, a third place there for him. Definitely, I'd say, had the pace and the potential on the brakes, and you can see that rear just locking up, and it just threw him off. But Stephen will come home in a third position.
Yeah, he actually had the race in his hands at one point in time, but yeah, unfortunately he lost it there.
Duncan will finish in a fourth place. I'm sure he'll be happy with that. Then Colin, fifth place there for him. I'm sure he'll also be very happy with that result. A top 5 is a great result, especially here at the Le Mans 24-hour circuit. Then we do just jump down to Ricardo. Ricardo had the pace to put in a great result here, but a few little mistakes, few little incidents, and Ricardo unfortunately finishing down in 6th place. And he was able to just pull a little gap over James, who will come home in 7th position. Then we see Dane now approaching the last 2 chicanes. So Dane down in 8th position. Ooh, and as we jump to Memo, is he going to make it through the corner? Yes, he does. No front splitter there. So that bumper is off. So he has put it in the wall somewhere. And then we can see Grant in 10th place. So he's battling with his front splitter, and you can see how that car just kicked off that curb as Memo brings that home, and no rear wing for Grant.
Yeah, one naked Renault. Nothing there.
And you can just see, the car just rotating around. And you see miraculously the rear ring is there, but as he gets closer, the wing just disappears again. And Grant deciding to rather just cut across. And that is that. That is the end of the Bravo tier racing.
This is where I'll exit and make some space for the guys to come and have a chat.
Dirkie, thank you very much. Do appreciate you joining us there.
Sure, man. It was lekker to be here, to keep you company.
Do appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Tot later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So everyone, we're just waiting for the top three just to come and join us in the lobby. I see we do have Duncan, who ended up finishing 4th. Duncan, you here, so we might as well have a chat. Tricky race for you.
Yeah, I can hardly breathe either.
We do understand that you're still fighting a bit of an illness.
I'm still alive.
But you're still alive, still with us, so that is absolutely awesome to hear. But glad that you were able to get the full race, 14 laps done and dusted around the Le Mans 24 hours.
Fun.
I think fun is not the right word.
Let's do it all again, shall we?
Sure, I'm in.
Yeah.
Let's go to you, Stephen. 3rd place for you in the end. An extremely difficult race. The race was coming to you, then going away, then coming back to you. A few little mistakes. You had to pit twice. I'm assuming the second one was to get some damage repaired. Tough race for you.
Yeah, I had to pit twice. I had a drive-through. Foot slipped off the clutch. So yeah, I had a drive-through to settle. So I had to do that. I was trying to get a bit of a gap, and yeah, just pushing too hard, doing too many mistakes, I guess. And yeah, third place. Look, I'm happy with the 3rd place. Was a very hard race. Guys didn't make it easy for me. So yeah, we had a good race.
And you were really having a great battle there with Ricardo. Going into that braking zone, it looks like both of you didn't quite know what to do, and then a little bit of contact, and then both of you unfortunately going off together. Yeah.
I don't know what really happened there, because I was trying to give him enough space, and yeah, when I saw him, he was against me, and I think on braking, the rear end popped, and I don't know if I took him out with me or we just went out at the same time. But yeah, it punished him a little bit more than it punished me, because I just had to turn a little bit and carry on going, where he still had to turn around, and then I saw him bump into the wall, so he probably had a bit of front end damage. So yeah, it was unfortunate there.
No, 100%. So we don't have Yanni that has joined us. So let's go to you, Rudy. A little bit of confusion there in the start. It looked like the guys were supposed to have been doing the rolling starts and getting lined up, but it looked like everybody, the lights went green and it was A for away. Everybody had a go.
Yeah, I saw that. Everyone pulled away. I wasn't even close to them, and I just started pulling them back slowly but surely.
You did say on the Discord that starting from the back is going to be fun, trying to work your way through.
Well, it was harder than I thought. Came up to about 3rd, and I was struggling there for a bit because I couldn't catch him. Obviously, all our pace was exactly the same. Then they made a few mistakes. I got past, and I just kept it in front.
And that's all you really needed to do, was just keep it on the track and just force the pressure onto everybody else and let them make that mistake.
Yeah, definitely. It was a fun race. One mistake, I had damage just before I pitted. Luckily, it was on the lap I was supposed to pit, so everything worked out in the end.
Yeah, we also saw Ricardo doing a very similar thing. He also lost it going into the last 2 chicanes and decided, little cuts across the grass, I'll take my pits now and get that sorted out. But a great drive there for you, Rudy. A great win. And finally a qualification for you automatically into the Alpha tier. So we'll see you in the Alpha tier next year. So you don't have to qualify for that now.
Here we go.
So we were commenting earlier just to say that in terms of your paces, that you definitely are a Alpha tier driver, but in terms of the qualifying, is that you've always just missed it by 1 or 2 places, but now's the time to come and shine.
Let's hope I can keep up with all the guys.
No, absolutely awesome. Guys, thank you very much. I just want to say a big thank you to all the admin staff behind the scenes that have helped us out, and that's to everyone who's helped with the hosting. Tyler, Stephen, Brandon, Jacques. To those on the directors, Stephen, Tyler, if I've missed your name, I'm sorry. Send me a message and I'll send you a personal apology. So the guys that have jumped into the Discord to help with the commentating, and that's Andrew, Terry, Tyler, Stanky has spent a few days with us, and then Dirk now decided to stay, so he was commentating on the Bravo tier, as well as Duncan, always there nice and early just to come and see what's happening in the Discord. Thank you very much. And we're looking forward to seeing you guys next season, and that will be in the new year. And a big thank you to Deliver Your Parcel for being able to put together that prize for us that we went and raced last weekend, and what a great event that turned out to be, and we are hoping to be able to secure more of those going forward. So guys, our Monday night racing is officially done in terms of leagues. We will be having a few fun events that will happen in the upcoming weeks, but as far as league racing goes, we are done. But don't forget to tune in on Thursday. We will have the last of the Setta Corsa racing. So guys, all I can say is until then, keep racing, and thanks for watching. Yos.
Sweet.
Thanks, guys.
See you later.